Guys, it's really very clear what is getting people out of the country. Listening to Nicholas Mawanda, and also remember the call that we had from Ivan in Uganda. And so many people are now in Kenya. They're already there. It is a situation, both in Nairobi and in Kakuma camp, and in other areas where we are not even aware that there might be refugees still in the country of Kenya. And I think this is the right time to get people to action, call people to action, responsible parties to action. And I feel that, I mean, last week in the inaugural program of the Kuchu television, we identified one of the biggest problems for these refugees, especially in the Kakuma camp, is the lack of protection. That some refugees could not live there anymore, that they had to trek a long distance to go and peacefully protest at the UN offices for refugees near Kakuma camp. And I think it is time to call upon the UNHCR to provide protection for all vulnerable groups within the camps. Seriously speaking, they are children. They are vulnerable. We hear of abuse, sexual harassment of children. Women are also another group that is targeted, abused in the camps. But now, we have a new group because of this fresh crisis in Africa. And that is the LGBT refugees. It is time for the UNHCR to step up, find ways of working with the Kenyan government to ensure protection of those groups within the Kakuma camp and elsewhere, even in Nairobi. And I think you can add on to that as we close on this particular bit. What are you calling us to do? What are you challenging the world to do?
I think that there is so much that we can do as activists, as organizations, as even as me being here in the US as an asylum seeker. I'm doing what I'm doing right now because I feel this is very important to me, and so I feel that I can still to continue with what you've been saying. I think that the UNHCR can actually try and speed the process of resettling these LGBTI refugees in the different countries. Looking at the camps themselves, like the one in Kakuma, is a collection of many people, many refugees from the African countries, and we all know Africa as one of the homophobic and transphobic states. Many of the states in Africa are very transphobic and homophobic. So just imagine having those people put in one group, in one area, in a small area, to live, to coexist. What will happen? So for me, I think this can be treated as an emergency. I know that many countries, sometimes even every year, within the year, they accept refugees who are at a higher risk, on a greater risk. LGBTI refugees in Kenya right now can be treated as that. And I know that the US is one of the countries that actually bring in the biggest number of refugees worldwide. But this year, they've not yet done that. And I would love it, because I've tried to do research. I know they take about 50 cases every year. But they are not clear on how many LGBT cases they take a year. So for me, I feel that if this year they made it a priority, as the president last week said that now USA is leading on LGBT rights, global LGBT as human rights. Right now, these refugees need the US protection. Let's see if the US can actually say, we are coming out to take 20 or 30 cases of LGBT refugees. Step up. I know when the anti-homosexuality law was just passed, was signed into law, Scotland came out and said, well, we will take on the LGBTs from Uganda. But what they have done? Right now, there are these LGBT refugees in Kenya. We need you, Scotland. We need Sweden. Now. Yeah. We need Sweden. We need Norway. We need Finland. We need Denmark and Netherlands. Recently, Netherlands came up, and recently Ireland came up. Canada. It's not just enough for you to block. Our diplomats not meet at a human rights meeting because you feel they are violating rights. But let's see critical and actions towards that. So for the viewers, I feel that the viewers also, you can play a huge role in this by pushing your different governments where you're coming from. I know this video is going to go all over the world. Many people are going to be looking at this. Those who are listening to me, you can do what you can where you are. Let your MP, let your whatever it is, your government that you can call on, let them be responsible. Let them take responsibility of those seeking refuge from Uganda. Let them be brought to your countries. Let your governments take full responsibility and say, well, we are going to create room for LGBTI refugees who are now in Kenya, for LGBTI refugees who are in Nairobi or Kakuma. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nicholas Mwando, for you're very articulate with these issues, and I hope our viewers have got this. Robert, what do you have for us? Challenge the world.
Yes, I think what I have to add on this, I will need to talk about the Kenyan government, because now we have all these our fellow LGBTs who are running to Kenya, being a question that it's a neighboring country, and I know there are so people are homophobic in the country. It's like a disease for all African countries. But then I have to call upon the Kenyan country as a government to make sure that they give a very good protection and safety to the LGBT refugees, because I think it is the human rights. Every country has these rights. All rights are the same in all over the world. It's a right for the human being when he feels where he is not feeling safe. We need to look for safety. It's a right for the human being to leave a country to another country and seek for the safety. So I think the Kenyan government has a big role to play about this. We cannot keep quiet and fail to tell them that our people are suffering in their country, that they are treating them the way they are treating them, like they have to judge them with their sodomelos they have in the ground, that they are in Nairobi because they are illegal. I think it's not the right word for them to use. Do
you want to give our viewers exactly, for example, last time we heard about what agents of the Kenyan government, that is the police and the military, the soldiers. Please remind our viewers about what they had to say when people were called upon for protection.
Yes, as you mentioned, thank you for reminding me about this point. Last time when these refugees were attacked in the camp, these people moved a long distance, went up to the UN headquarters to demonstrate about their lives, because they were really threatened to death, throwing them stones. One of them was really very bad injured. But then instead of giving these people security and giving them, looking at them really like people who need safety, the police came in and started like abusing them, fighting them, and like punishing them. Like they are in Nairobi as the legal, they can use their own rules which they have in the ground to take them,
punish them for who they are.
It's not really right. That's why I said I have to talk about the Kenya government.
Yes.
It's their part of role to make sure that they take these people's security as an important issue, as a human rights issue, because they have right to go to Kenya and seek for the safety.
Yes, thank you. And these are human beings. I think that we all need to remember that the refugees all over the world are now the ones that we're talking about, the LGBT refugees in Kenya, in both Kakuma and in Nairobi and elsewhere, are human beings. And it is upon us to protect and defend our own. Thank you very much for viewing and listening to us today. The refugees series end with the refugees in Kakuma and Nairobi, and please look out for another telecast of the situation of LGBT people and refugees of Nigeria in the coming couple of weeks. Thank you very much. And from the Kuchu Television, a media project of the Kuchu Diaspora Alliance USA, Africa's LGBT news source.